Shopify understood everything, and if you don't do the switch today, you might get in trouble at some point.
Welcome to Shopify Masters, the weekly podcast brought to you by Shopify, your companion for starting and building a business. I'm Shwenga Sershan, and this week we are chatting with Marvin Cavalier, the co-founder of Tajinebanane, an apparel company that creates clothing designed for breastfeeding. We get to learn from Marvin as he shares how his sister Ali came up with the concept for Tajinebanane, the social content that allowed the business to triple their growth, and the importance of building a community. Before our show, I want to let you know about Shopify Inbox. It's a brand new free sales channel that you can set up right in your admin. With Inbox, you can manage all customer conversations from your store and social media in one place. Plus, chat anywhere, anytime using the mobile app or on the web. Most importantly, Inbox can help you close sales since 70% of Shopify Inbox conversations are with customers making a purchasing decision. Use the power of chat to turn browsers into buyers. For more information, visit shopify.com/chat. Now let's teleport ourselves to Bordeaux, France, where we visited Tajinebanane's storefront and recorded this episode. Tajinebanane is not just an apparel brand, it's a community for parents and kids. Now in its fourth year of operations, Tajinebanane grew from an idea that Ali Cavalier had about making breastfeeding more accessible by creating stylish clothing that catered to the need. With her brother Marvin looking after operations, the siblings grew this direct-to-consumer brand to have its own retail and community space. They also expanded to a team of over 20 employees and have built a charity component into Tajinebanane.
My sister was got her first kid at 19 years old. Back then she was not really informed about breastfeeding and topics around maternity. As a young mom with her first son, but she did not breastfeed for very long or something. Then she got a second kid, Mali, which was completely different. She breastfed for 18 months or something, and it worked perfectly well. And so that's why for third one, she knew she wanted to breastfeed even before giving birth. So when she was 8 months pregnant, she had I think it's called appendicitis.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So she had to get operated while still pregnant. I think she got 3 or 4 operations. She stayed in the hospital 2 months after giving birth. As she had a lot of morphine treatments, she could not breastfeed in the hospital, but she really wanted to. So when she went back home after a month, she stayed all weekend with Lou, it's the name of her last born, in bed to try to breastfeed, and she ended up managing to breastfeed her last one. Yeah, what happened is breastfeeding clothing always existed. It's a concept that exists for 50 years or something. Mm-hmm. She was just not a client of breastfeeding clothing. She did not recognize herself. So what she was doing, she was wearing normal clothes. She had a lot of bandages, scars and stuff. Lifting the t-shirt story became an issue. And that's how, with a t-shirt of half, a boyfriend, it was an oversized t-shirt. She made 2 cuts. And she realized it actually was pretty practical, then you did not have to lift the t-shirt. Mm-hmm. And that's how she really imagined the first concept. Once again, it was not to basically fulfill the needs of clients who are actually clients of breastfeeding clothing. It was to fill the needs of what she thought was a couple of moms like her who wanted to stay a bit stylish while having something practical to breastfeed with.
So how did you get involved with the business, and how did you start working with your sister?
Purely random. When we tell the story, it sounds like a lot of, a lot of crap, but that's how it happened. So we launched it, Tajinebanane, I think the 8th of August or 10th. We can't even remember the exact date. We always mixed up between the 8th and the 10th. And I was on holidays there. I don't know, we spent we were supposed to spend a couple of days or something. I was at the time in an internship in Paris, my last internship to finish my studies. Even the day where she launched it, we were actually at the beach with my girlfriend, Raphael, her boyfriend. And then my sister was launching Tajinebanane. She thought it would be a fail. Then her product was not good enough. Then I felt I think a lot of entrepreneurs have this moment when they launch the thing, they don't even believe in their own stuff anymore. Mm-hmm. But it was not at all like that. She launched it. We had our first order something 10 minutes after the launch. Nobody knew us, especially. We really started from nowhere. On Instagram, I think we reached 2,000 like followers. We were 200 just before the launch or something. I don't know what happened this launch date, but like we got reposted by the right person, and then like from then like those person reposted, and we straight got like a good visibility, not a huge one, but a good one. And we had the first day like something like 5-6 orders. As I told you, my sister never thought of Tajinebanane as a business. They did not even have a laptop at the time. They did not make like any business plan, even if you don't really need to make a business plan. I mean, even the price of a t-shirt, she did calculate it because it sounded good. Like 39 was a good price, like a good psychological price. It's not too much. It's under 40. She did not even calculate all the cost of shipping, like stuff like that. And then so like he exploded from one sec to the other. My sister, like I still remember her, but like 24 hours after the launch, she was crying. She was like, I won't be able to do it. Like, I don't know, I have orders. I felt like, she was completely lost. I'm not saying then like, I don't know, I saved the day or something, but like I had a little bit of business knowledge, let's say. And the first 24 hours, we haven't slept. We like starting to start a business within 24 hours, kind of. So just an Excel sheet, trying to find the cost. She didn't even know how much the t-shirt cost her. So I had to ask the invoice to the suppliers and everything. And from this moment, we never left. We did invest ourselves 100% from day one. And,
all self-funded.
Yeah.
No external investments.
Exactly, yeah. We did not really have money back then. What really helped is like my dad helped us for the first order of t-shirts. Mm-hmm. I think it was a couple of brands. Like it was not like even a big investment. Like I think anybody nowadays can make an investment of $2,000 or euros in their own business, in their own ideas. But we did not even have those 2,000 back then. Yeah. So my dad helped for the first order. And then from this moment, we sold 100 t-shirts. We decided to put it out of stock because we were not really happy with the first product we launched it. We did not find it very practical. It changed a lot since. And then we did some kind of pre-order. So it's not really crowdfunding, but you were buying like basically your product. You were not buying a concept, buying an idea. You were buying your t-shirt and you just had to wait like 10 to 12 weeks to receive it. So that we managed like that to bypass our order and like kind of financing or production upfront, as like a lot of people are doing today. We did not like invent anything or something, but so we did not really do a crowdfunding, but like more or less like we started like that. I think a couple 3 first order were like that. Like we always took like something like 10-20% more in quantities in case.
When Marvin and Ali launched the business in 2018, they gave all their energy to Tajinebanane, working long hours, wearing all the hats that the business required. It wasn't until a year later that the siblings hired their first employee.
Our first recruitment was end 2019. I think it was for customer service. Because at some point, like what we realized, nobody could be as implied as we were in this like project, because like it's your own project, you give everything you have. The first thing we had to do to start kind of like growing, scaling and everything was to outsource the logistic. That was really like as a e-commerce, I think is the first thing you should do. You should never like think twice about outsourcing like logistics. Because our 8 first months we were packing ourselves. We were in the garage of my sister, and like we literally like spent from 8 in the morning until like we had to be at the post office by 4, because at 4 it's like they stop they ship the mail the same day. And from 8 to 4 we were in the garage like packing order, but like in this time you do nothing who add value to your company. It's absolutely not like added value. It's nice because you're careful in the shipping, you can put little notes, so it's better for the customer, kind of. You put like way more effort. From 4, like we were like done with the orders, and then we had to answer emails, we had to do Instagram, we had to think of other products, think of marketing strategies. So let's say then all days were like from 8 to 12 like every day. And we even had to stop on marketing strategy because we knew behind, like for example, like a little promotion code for like Mother's Day, for example. We were like, no, but we're not going to do it because then we have to ship the order. It's like then we can have 100 orders to ship. So we were even like stopping all of that. And then we met like a person who had like someone like a logistician.
Fulfillment logistics.
Yeah, fulfillment logistics. From this moment, like logistic was not an issue anymore. So like we did focus 100% on the activity. And same at the point, like it was more me taking care of emails, for example. And at the point of when I was spending 6 hours answering emails per day, I realized like, yeah, it's no need. And so we did outsource, and we started like that, basically. Like, I think we're really careful in the way we manage our business. I'm not saying it's the best way to do it. We call it like in French, like sous l'eau. It's like underwater. We prefer putting ourselves underwater, like work a lot. Until the moment where like really the added value was not there anymore. And then we did like find someone to help. So that was 2019. And then 2020, it's like when we really built the team. And today, like, with 24 employees, and my sister and me.
That's quite a lot of growth. But I think I want to ask a little bit about the beginning, because you said, your sister didn't do a crazy amount of marketing. She just had this idea. She made a few t-shirts and she started, on social. Like for you, what do you think is that initial part about Tajinebanane, or what is it about how you guys approach sharing the story that really got the first set of customers aware of your products and actually be a paying customer?
The first thing you have to know is like my sister before was, in English, I don't know you say that, but in a hospital you have nurses, and under like the nurses you have like, we call it aide-soignante. So basically it's the people like doing the toilet to the patient. Personal support. Yeah, personal support and everything. Yeah. And she never studied marketing from like close or far in her life. She, never read books about marketing. She was just very comfortable. And so she had a MySpace. It was always great. When Facebook arrived, she had a Facebook. It was great. Like great pictures, great Instagram came, great Instagram. I don't know. I don't think it's something you can learn how to use social media. Like, basically I learned marketing in school. I would never be able like to be close enough from the talent of my sister. Like, even if someone's doing master, like in communication, my sister is still going to be better than, it's not to say my sister is the best or something. But I mean, I think you have some stuff that you can't learn. All of that to say, then like, my sister started like, so the launch of the company was in August. She started in Instagram, I think in like 3 or 4 months before the launch. And when she started to do it was just content, like talking about maternity, talking about breastfeeding, talking about a story too. Like we never sold a product. That's the thing you have to remember. We never selling a product except like on the launch day where we're going to say like, oh, look, this new t-shirt. But that's it. Afterwards, it's always about content. Because the thing is with Instagram, what we realize, it's like brands never have a big engagement on Instagram. Like, you're not going to like the post because, it's a great new like outfit, like, or something. People want to be interested in learn stuff, basically. So that's how I think we managed to keep followers like happy, or interested at least. And so she built this little community, but like, since then we never changed our strategy. Like, as I told you, you can't have a strategy in communication. I'd say you have guidelines, you have values, and our guideline values haven't changed since the beginning. We're not selling a product, we're selling a concept. Something to help moms in their challenges every day. But like, that's why it's hard to present Tajinebanane as we do breastfeeding clothing. No, it's not just that. It's like all the stuff around.
Making being a parent just a little bit more easier for moms.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then at which point in your business were you saying, now we can actually invest in marketing, maybe put money behind ads and start having a marketing budget? Did you guys ever transition into that section?
Not really. That's the other thing. It's like our advertising budget is close to zero. We started a big Google ads like a couple of months ago. We did just one campaign in 2019 or something. We spent like maybe 50 euros on Instagram. That's it. It's still possible to have natural growth, natural content. It's just you have to stay interested in things. That's it. I don't know. I think you have to touch subjects. You have to find the right influencer to work with. It's not even just a practical thing. I think it's just moms and like women in general. Like it's the same. Like don't want to change the dress code just because they gave birth. We would have made a market study. We would have realized probably that like, it's not an interesting market for us, because if you were a client of breastfeeding clothing, you're going to play like it's a bit prettier, maybe it's a bit more practical. But like on the other hand, like you're not going to like get all the market of breastfeeding clothing mom just because you're prettier and more practical. What we did manage to touch is all the moms who did not buy breastfeeding clothing, kind of, because they did not recognize themselves in them and they did not find the need of it. And that's where the customers are. It's like So yeah.
For certain moms or certain parents, they move past the stage of breastfeeding. So how do you keep that relationship going as they move through different parts of their life?
I think our first kid clothing were maybe a year after our launch. The thing we realized first is like we thought too, then moms are breastfeeding a couple of months, then it stops. Mm-hmm. And so like what are you gonna do? Like you're gonna have to renew always your customer bases, find new customers. We realized it was not that. You have as many breastfeeding journey as mothers, basically. Like what we realized is like even if a mom did stop breastfeeding, she kept wearing her clothes because it was some kind of souvenir. Like, we're not saying that breastfeeding is better than giving the bottle. It's not even, it was never a topic. But what we realized is like when mom are breastfeeding, they're having a moment with their child, which is very, very powerful. And so basically you're touching a moment which is really important, like a lot of emotions, hormones, everything. So it's always a like very emotional moment. And so we realized that even today, a lot of our clients are not even breastfeeding. They just like the concept, the brands, they support the brands. We also have moms then like orders in 2018, stopped breastfeeding in 2019, but had a second kid or third kid. So that after like, as long as they like bought it the first time, they know the brands, they keep following us. That's again, the most important thing about content. Because those people, if they're not clients anymore, you still have to keep them interested. They don't care about like your new product, basically, because they don't need it anymore somehow. But like we managed to keep them because like, yeah, we talk about like subjects which are interesting them. Even if they don't breastfeed anymore, you have so many topics around maternity, you can talk for hours. And so basically these people we keep. And then when they get like pregnant again, I'm telling you, like we sometimes even first to know before their husband, they send us a picture of their pregnancy test saying like, oh, I'm going to be able to reorder soon, or like, I'm so happy I'm pregnant. We became this, I don't know, figure of their maternity kind of like, so that was one of the thing. And the other, of course, is like the kids clothing too. So we realized, like when we started making kids, it did not really work. But after a year or after 18 months, it started working because we realized that like, same, you start breastfeeding, you prefer buying stuff for you because someone was going to give birth. Mm-hmm. You're always going to buy a present for the kid. It's like mainly everybody's doing that. It's like a little like a teddy bear for the kid or clothes for the kid. But nobody really think about the mom. Mm-hmm. Like even if it's like still a really huge moment for her too. So they want to make themselves happy. We realize and like, you start by buying stuff for yourself. And then at some point, like after a year of like breastfeeding, either you stop or either like you start buying stuff for your kid too. That's how now like kids, we're not on the same volume as breastfeeding, but like, it's a perfect balance.
You mentioned earlier that there's, support and reposting by influencers. Mm-hmm. Have you worked with influencers and done campaigns that way, or have they just only found you guys organically?
It started on our launch. We found 2 influencers who did order without even telling us. It was 2 influencers, like micro influencers. Then it was huge for us. Talking about like subject around maternity, like education and stuff like that. And so they really got interested by the concept. One of them was breastfeeding. She ordered, she liked it, she reposted. And like from this moment, my sister spends almost all her day on Instagram. So she was following interesting people like on topics. And we started by gifting them. Mm-hmm. So like you send a couple of t-shirts, you send like nice notes. And it started like that. And like they like the brand, they like the concept, so they always like reshare like without any financial. But on the other hand, when we give someone, we never tell us, oh, you have to post or you have to make a story. That's the thing, it's like, okay, you gift, it's a gift. So if she doesn't want to talk about it, but she doesn't talk about it. And like, I think it's this relationship we have with them. It's not a contract. It's more like, here you go. We want to make you happy, to please you. Now you do whatever you want with it. And often they repost because like they accept the gesture. And they like the brand, they like the product. It's nice to talk about branding with values also, I'd say. We never really had like sponsored like relation. Same also like, even if the influencers stop breastfeeding, we still give them with other stuff. I mean, we have a relation. We work with some influencer. We work since 2018. It's not even work. I mean, like it's a relationship. My sister became friends with some of them, so they talk about all the topics and stuff. I felt like, yeah, it was never a financial like relationship, a contract, or like, yeah, I give you that, you have to give me that in return. If I don't have that many followers, I'm not going to work with you anymore. Like, it was never like that. Like,
very organic, just relationship building.
Yeah. Exactly. And then after you do, of course, giveaways with other brands. That was always something we did from the beginning. And now all the brands want to do giveaway with us, so they come naturally too.
Marvin and Ali went from siblings who were on a beach vacation together to co-founders and owners of Tajinebanane. They also enlisted the help of both of their partners. Some might suggest that by having romantic and familial ties to a business might make it complicated, but Marvin thinks differently.
I think we're really lucky to be as a family business, because I think the important thing with your associates is to be able to tell each other stuff. I find it easier to tell my sister stuff than like a friend. It's easier to fight with your sister. You always fought before, you know what I mean, than like to fight with a friend. And so already I think it was very straight, like from the beginning. In the personal level, you don't have a notion as an entrepreneur of personal and professional anymore. To be honest, I don't really have this dimension because, yeah, since 3 years, basically, we only talk about Tajinebanane. We don't have really other topics. Of course, we managed to talk about something else from time to time, but it's still the main topics coming back to the table. So yeah, I think we grew closer. We were not neighbors. Me in Lyon or Paris, she was in La Rochelle. It's like still far apart. We were not seeing each other very often. And now we see each other every day. I think I'd say we grew closer, and I think she would say the same thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Do you think there's advice for family members who want to run a business together?
I don't know, we're siblings, and on top of that, both our partners are associated with it. And I always heard people saying I could never work with my boyfriend or my girlfriend or something. It's very hard and stuff. And I don't know, never really happened to us. Summer. I think, of course, if you don't have a great relationship with your siblings, maybe it's not going to work out. You know, you still have to, for example, when we were young, we were always together. As young kids, we were always doing stuff together. We had a really strong relationship. Then after we grew a bit apart, but that's a different journey too. And then we came back together with Tajinebanane. But you still have to have a good basis. It has to be important and to split the roles, to split the responsibilities. Mm-hmm. For example, with my sister, I'm never going to take a decision on her part. She's going to never take a decision on mine. It's we both CEOs of the company. I have more the process, back office part. Mm-hmm. She has more the Instagram, art direction. She's the brand, I'm the company. We both trust each other on each of her part. She's never going to tell me hey, why did you do that? Or something like that. I'm never going to tell her yeah, why did you do that? It's we leave each other in peace.
That sounds very cool. A lot of trust, definitely, to just let each other manage their own domain. And also the partner aspect, both of your partners are also in the company. So, and that also hasn't ever complicated working together as well. Wow.
Christina, my partner, I work still a lot with her, on different aspects of our missions, but it's you still have your moments where you're on your own, and so I think everybody has his own responsibility. For example, Christina, my partner, I could be technically a boss. I'm never gonna tell her she's more the boss of me, kind of. I don't know, you know what I mean? It's you should not interfere, professional and personal. That's what we did with my sister. So nobody is the boss of anybody. And then the same, my sister is not the boss of Raphael. I'm not the boss of Christina. It's in real life, you have to respect your partner, kind of. It's not even at home. It's not one better than the other. It's and at work, it's the same. And so I think it's great. We spend a lot of time together then. I think the other thing where it's great to be with your partner is I think the first year at least, she would not have been Tajinebanane, she would have left me, I think. It's you work 24/7, you're never there. And who's best to understand that if she's living it herself?
And what are their respective roles?
So Christina, she's German. So basically she's more on international development, focusing on Germany. Because now we have someone an English speaker as well for English speaking countries. And when we work, it's a lot of administrative aspects, and we do it together. And Raphael is going to be in the boutique and helps my sister on Instagram. So that's why both of, especially for example, Christina never really works with my sister, and I don't really work with Raph kind of. And so basically Raph helped my sister to answer messages on Instagram. So even today, like Instagram, if you text on Instagram, like the one who's going to answer you is going to be my sister or boyfriend. Even Raphael became friends with some of her clients. They talk about all the topics and stuff like that. It was always, we call it, for example, la mif. It's like a short for like famille, like family. So basically we call it like that. Like even our customers recognize themselves as a big family kind of. And we were always like really very close with our customers, and we don't even see them as customers kind of. I don't know.
So the store below us is very much like a community of sorts. It's not just to sell clothes, you know, especially how you guys described it online. It's like, come in for some coffee, come in for tea. You also have an area for kids to play in. So it's very much like almost like a community hub.
Most of customers spend an hour in the shop, and any other shops in the world would be like, your interest is to kick the customer as quick as possible. Us, as the other way around, it's like, even if a customer spends 3 hours and not buy in the end, it's okay too. Like he had a good, like, you know, this person had a good moment. Like drinks, we offer them, even if you don't order. Like, I mean, if you want a coffee, we're not going to make you pay for it. It's like, it was the whole concept is like, don't treat your customer like you would not like to be treated by a company kind of. It was always the spirit, and for loyalty was the same. We build a loyalty program. Imagine this loyalty program. We did not calculate it. Like, for example, if I give that, I'm going to have that in return and it's going to cost me that and stuff. We just made it how we would have liked to have a loyalty program. So you see our loyalty program today, like nobody's doing that. Like we offer sometimes 40 euros as a voucher. Like no company is doing that, you know. It was more like to be nice, to reward actually the clients who spend like thousands, 100,000 of euros like in our shop. And yeah, I think we're pretty fair. After, of course, we're a business, so you have to think profits. If you're not profitable, like, you're not going to work out in any case. So it's always just two dimensions, and you have to keep at least the balance, but never put the business first. And like, yeah.
The last question about all this partnership and family is, I guess, was it ever scary? If things don't work out, then it's like, it's for people's livelihood that's at stake almost.
Don't really think about it. The first difficulties we had was this year. This year was the worst. Kind of, it's like we were like what I like to call like a growth crisis. Okay. You know, because the thing you have to know is like it's hard to run a business which is not working, but it's even harder to run like a business which is working crazy, or maybe not harder but more dangerous. Kind of.
Yes.
Because the problem is like you're like your revenue is growing, but like your expenses are growing the same way, you know. And at some point when you start to make less revenue, the charges don't drop anymore. That's the problem with charges. As long as they're here, it's like, if they're here, it's like because you need them or they will not be there. And so like we were at this point this year because I don't know, like I think in 2020 we made like 400% growth or something, like over the year, like 300 or 400, I can't remember exactly. And this year we had 50%, so which is still great. I don't know, like most company would be like really happy with a growth like that. But I mean, going to 300 to 50, in your plans, it was not the same, because we did not plan 300 again this year, because it's easier to go from like, let's say 500,000 to 1 million, it's times 2, then to 1 to 2 already, because you have to get an extra million, it's harder. And so so we plan like stocks, for example, like in a way that we would like have a big growth compared to last year. Like actually, it was still a growth, but not as big as expected. You have way too much stocks. You spend still like a lot of money in like expenses in general. And so like, it was like a bit the year where like the transitional. But like it's a good thing too, because at least last year we had this year to base ourselves on, because that's the hard thing with a growing company also. When you grow too quick, you can't base yourself. And that's very important to do a planning, to know how many units to produce, for example. And I think next year is going to be the easy one then. It's going to be like the one where basically I'm comfortable enough to say how much revenue I'm going to make next year.
But it's also like, you know, you were in like second or third year. It's very tough to extrapolate and estimate what you can do, because you only had a couple of years to base out. And one of them was a very exponential year. I guess like working through that growth crisis, what were some like things that you did that you felt like, you know what, this is me having more control again, and also helping the whole team out of this like crazy growth period and understanding some of the things that you had to do?
I was very invested into Tajinebanane. So basically, like the bank account of Tajinebanane, it would be like it's mine, not exactly mine, but I mean like I was like way too implied actually, like personally speaking, like psychologically speaking into the company. So the first thing, the most important to do is to take a step backwards, like on your own business, or like you have to take some like a step backwards to really understand like so what's wrong today, kind of what's not working as well as last year, and so that was the hardest thing to do for me this year, at least, because when you every day into the account, every day into the sales, every day into like the stocks. 3 years ago we had no money. Now I'm gonna pay like maybe within one day 100,000 like that, like I'm gonna make transfer to like suppliers, and the dimension of like expenses did change. Like I'm buying a house every month, kind of like and second, like you have to know what's not working today. It's normal to be less profitable as much as you grow, and like to take one step at a time, and like to be optimistic.
And as you were building your store online, or even retail-wise, has there been tools, apps that really helped you build? And are there any favorites that you can share?
Yeah, on Shopify since February 2020. We were before on WooCommerce. We started on Wix.
Wow.
So all the steps, like we had to change solution, kind of. Wix, the problem was with the logistics. So we could not interface with our logistics software. So we went on WooCommerce. WooCommerce, was full of bugs. For us, it was like not possible. So when we had a lot of traffic on the website, for example, but people could not order or spend sometimes an hour to order because it was too many people. The website was lagging, the server was lagging. I think it was someone from Shopify who knew the brand or something like that, and they contacted us because we were starting to become famous on how our website was lagging, kind of like people knew. And so this Shopify partner presented us with an agency in Paris. It was really good, and we built our first website, and since we never had lag or something, you can do anything you want. The first app we took, like I think we had one app like which is called Intercom. I don't know if you know, it's like customer service. It's like you have a chat like on your website, and like the customer can reach you through this like chat box. We have also another solution that we love. It's Klaviyo.
Yes.
So like you fully integrate it, so that's great too. And we use Klaviyo as it's a CRM solution. We use it for our main loyalty program stuff. Because they have something like we call like flows, automated emails. So basically for the I don't know, it's your birthday, you receive an email with a code, but Klaviyo is great to segment. It's really user-friendly. So Shopify understood everything, and if you don't do the switch today, you might get in trouble at some point because, I don't know, like now, every time we think about a new solution, we think about like, it's integrated to Shopify. We had also Fitted. I don't know if you know. It's a sizing tools, recommendation tool.
Amazing. And then looking forward, is there any plans or news that you can share that you want to highlight?
The first plan would be to keep the things the way they are. As I told you before, like profits come after. Keeping the spirit, like we have an amazing team. We found like employees which are like really invested. Like they love the message, they love the company. They probably do feel like they're as invested as us today. And so like to keep the company like that, to keep the employees like that. And after more business speaking, we're already like really big in France, so that's okay. We want to expand a bit more too. Europe is a great market for us. We're not focusing on too much on the US yet. We start a bit pretty particular in the US when you're a European business. I mean, like it's a lot of investment, so we're focusing on Europe now. And maybe like we were planning on opening a new boutique in Paris. This one's working well, so maybe like extend the concept to really important like part of the company, which is like in the social charity area. So since we started, basically we always made partnership with association. So we, for example, like created, it did exist before, but we adapted it to a company. But like the concept of in France, I don't know if it's the same in the US, but for example, you go to a bar and you pay yourself for a coffee. You can leave to the barman like €1 extra. And if like poor people want to have a coffee, basically it's this concept of like you go to the bar and like it's €5 extra. So here you can have your coffee, you know, or something like that. And so we did put the exact same concept on the website, so people can leave €1, €2, €5, €10, whatever. And we turn all this money into like we give clothes in the same time. So for example, if we buy a t-shirt, let's say €18, we got €18, but we give €18. We're not like charging like 44 as it's yours. It's really what we paid, covered by like the donation of clients. And we do that like, it's always one going on kind of like, so every 3 months we change the association. So like, yeah, we do like fundraising. My sister always wanted this plan since she started Tajinebanane is to like build like the Tajinebanane Foundation. She's invited to the Ministry for the Rights of Women to breastfeed. Yeah, she's becoming a bit of a public figure. It's funny to see it like that. But like, yeah, so she has plan of her own too in this area. So we take it one step at a time, like no big plans for the future, because we realize that when you make big plans anyway, it never happens. That's the thing, you know.
Amazing.
No, I don't know after if it's the right advice for everybody, but it worked for us, right?
No, but still very exciting plans and looking forward to how you guys grow. Amazing.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Marvin. This has been great. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Shopify Masters. My name is Shuang, and if you enjoyed the business journey of Tajinebanane, please leave us a review on your listening platform so the story can be discovered by others. Until next time on Shopify Masters.